out for a long time. So, and I hear he's talking a lot of things. Yeah, then I never forget. No, he said Canelo going down and Canelo can do this, can do that. He never believed in my skills. But I guess what? He's gonna find out soon.
He's a good fighter, but like I say to him, everybody say the same thing before I fought with Golovkin. Oh, he's a monster. He's gonna knock out Canelo. He's this and that. At the end of the day, it's not the same being in the ring with other fighters like being in the ring with.
Canelo Alvarez has spent years dismissing talk of a fight with David Benavidez, but this time his response appears to carry a much stronger message. Instead of simply brushing off the matchup as he has done in the past, Canelo now seems ready to make his position completely clear. His latest stance has sparked fresh speculation about whether the long-discussed showdown could finally become a serious possibility.
A box a perfect fight.
Is he capable of that?
He's capable of it. You feel me? As long as he don't get too thirsty for that knockout. Just take.
Canelo Alvarez has ruled the super middleweight division for years, while a potential showdown with David Benavidez has remained one of boxing's biggest unanswered questions. Canelo has pointed back to the period when both fighters were competing at 168 pounds and raised a simple question. If Benavidez wanted the fight so badly, why didn't he pursue the available champions in that division at the time?
Looking for the payday. No, it's a reason they always calling me out. But you know, when we are like both in 168, I fought every champion.
Benavidez has a very different explanation. For years, he has been portrayed as the dangerous contender Canelo was unwilling to face, and David argues that Canelo understands exactly what his size, strength, and relentless pressure could bring once the fight becomes intense. In Benavidez's view, those physical advantages could push Canelo into uncomfortable situations and create openings that would make his weaknesses much easier to expose.
If you have a fighter talking so much trash in front of you, why don't you make an example of him to the world? Beat me in the ring and make a whole lot of money. But Canelo Alvarez, as you can see from every time he fights a guy that's big with power, like Bivol, you know what I mean? And he's not able to.
Benavidez also believes winning a championship at light heavyweight could completely change the balance of power. If he becomes a title holder in that division, he would no longer have to chase Canelo for an opportunity. Instead, he could enter negotiations with his own leverage and championship status, putting more pressure on Canelo to accept the fight on Benavidez's terms.
But now if Canelo wants to come up, then I got the WBC world title 175. After I beat Bivol, I'm gonna have all belts. So after that happens, now I'm the one who has the power. Now I'm the one. Canelo said he doesn't fight, he fights for greatness, he fights for title.
Terence Crawford offers another perspective, suggesting that Canelo is fully aware of the challenges Benavidez's larger frame could create once the fight begins. Crawford believes the physical difference could become especially important because Benavidez has the size, strength, and stamina to maintain relentless pressure and force Canelo to work under constant stress throughout the fight.
You know, Benavidez is a great fighter, but he's a big fighter. He's a tall fighter, and I just think Canelo knows, like, why would I want to get in the ring with this guy that's going to be massive come fight time? And I'm not that big of a guy at all. I've been doing all this with my skills because Canelo's not a big guy. He's been fighting.
Crawford also points to Canelo's history of facing bigger opponents throughout his career. Canelo has often relied on timing, defensive awareness, accuracy, and ring IQ to deal with fighters who held physical advantages. That experience shows why elite technique can sometimes overcome a significant size disadvantage. If Canelo controls the distance, picks his moments carefully, and forces the bigger opponent to fight outside his comfort zone, Benavidez's physical advantages may not tell the entire story.
So you gotta tip your hat off to Canelo and what he's accomplished.
Absolutely.
Being 5'7", going up to 175 and fighting these big guys and actually winning. And
while the Canelo-Benavidez saga continues, another potential blockbuster matchup is starting to gain attention. Jai Opetaia, already regarded as one of the leading champions in his division, believes a clash with Benavidez becomes much harder to ignore if major championship belts are involved. With world titles adding even greater significance, Opetaia sees the matchup as something far bigger than just another high-profile fight. A showdown between two elite champions could have major implications for the division and their overall legacies.
You know, especially him being in cruiserweight, you know, and to me it just makes sense. Like, if he's fighting for a world title in my division, why don't people want to see who the best is in the division? Like, it does not make sense to me if we don't fight. You know what I mean? Like, he's coming up fighting for a undisputed, like a unification fight, and he's going to be holding the WBO and WBA. It just doesn't make sense to me that...
Benavidez has made it clear that his main priority remains his own career. He wants to continue defeating the opponents placed in front of him and build his legacy one step at a time. However, he is not completely closing the door on a massive showdown. If the right opportunity comes along and the timing, terms, and circumstances all line up, David appears willing to seriously consider the fight.
I felt that I'm not going to wait for Canelo. You know, I'm going over here and making my own lane, going up to cruiserweight. So it feels good, but it feels good to be in my own lane and doing, you know, other stuff. And, you know, I'm able to get my glory besides just that one Canelo fight. But to be honest with you, you guys are always going to be interested in that fight. So that question is never going to leave. You know what I mean? But I mean, it doesn't matter to me. At the end of the day, the fans deserve that fight, whether it happens, whether it not,
Max Kellerman takes a more straightforward approach to the entire discussion. Instead of focusing heavily on promotion, business decisions, or the narrative surrounding Benavidez and Opetaia, he concentrates on what actually happens inside the ring. With both fighters viewed as elite talents, Kellerman believes their skills, performances, and accomplishments should be the biggest factors when determining who truly deserves the opportunity.
That he's using, well, I'm after legacy stuff. Does he think that some sanctioning body, that a belt confers some special status actually on a fight? Who are the two best cruiserweights in the world? It is obvious to everyone. Jai Opetaia, David Benavidez. So the thing to...
Kellerman further argues that Opetaia has already done enough to establish himself at the championship level. His performances and accomplishments have earned him the right to be taken seriously among the sport's best. From Kellerman's perspective, promotional disagreements, complicated matchmaking, and financial considerations should not overshadow what Opetaia has already achieved. The real question, he believes, is what Opetaia has proven inside the ring and whether those performances justify giving him the biggest opportunities.
The Zuffa belt. He also has the Ring Magazine belt. He is considered the lineal champion, the one and only legitimate cruiserweight champion of the world. Now, as much as I love David Benavidez, and he's been ruthlessly ducked at 68 and 75, Benavidez has never been the champion, the actual champion of any division. It's not his fault. He hasn't been given the opportunity. I mean, he may have been the best fighter in multiple divisions, but he's never proven that he is the champion by beating the champ because he's been frozen out of those.
But Jose Benavidez Sr. sees the situation differently. David's father and longtime trainer believes Jai Opetaia still needs more experience at the highest level before he can be directly compared with his son. He points to the years David has spent facing elite opponents and competing in high-pressure championship situations. In Jose's view, that experience could become a major advantage for David, especially if a fight reaches its most difficult and demanding stages.
Said that he was the next big thing and that he was going to make David look like an amateur, this and that. You know, he doesn't have the experience that David has. I think he is going to be better in about 3-4 years more. You know, I think he's lacking off experience a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, he's a good fighter. He is going to be a great fighter. But right now, he doesn't have the experience that David has. You know, I see Benavidez be bold and Chulo Ramirez more dangerous.
Jose takes his criticism beyond experience, arguing that Opetaia also needs to build a larger audience. In his view, being an elite fighter does not automatically make a matchup a major commercial attraction. If Opetaia wants a fight with Benavidez to become a true blockbuster, developing a stronger fan base and bigger public profile could be just as important as what he accomplishes inside the ring.
Ask the viewers, would you rather see David fight Zurdo or Opetaia? If you ask a Mexican fighter, they don't know who Opetaia is. You know, he still needs to develop a little bit more and grow his fan base. Does it make sense? So if we were fighting Opetaia, people would be complaining. We're fighting nobody, about somebody that is not known. The boxing world knows who he is, you know, because at the end of the day, for Mexicans.
Opetaia has his own response to those concerns. He warns that becoming too focused on scoring a knockout can actually hurt a fighter's performance by causing him to abandon his strategy. Instead, He believes the smarter approach is to stay composed, trust his fundamentals, and allow his power to create opportunities naturally. If he follows the game plan and remains disciplined, Opetaia believes the knockout will come when the right opening appears rather than something he needs to force.
I mean, it's I believe if you chase the punch too much, you're going to make too many mistakes. So, you know, we just got to fight smart, and the punches will come. You know, and I believe the way I box as well, and my speed and my ability. A lot of people underestimate my power. You know what I mean? But they learn quick when I'm in the ring. So it's just about fighting smart, doing our thing. You know,
Chris Mannix shifts the focus toward the actual matchup and believes Benavidez could make the contest much closer than some people expect, especially if he gets past Zurdo Ramirez first. Mannix points to Benavidez's size, physical strength, relentless pressure, and experience as major reasons why the potential fight deserves serious attention. In his view, the matchup should not be dismissed before it even happens because Benavidez has the tools to create real problems for an elite opponent.
I don't think he's as overmatched as you do against Jai Opetaia. Not that I disrespect Jai, just I have not seen it yet against high-level guys. He didn't get Brandon Glanton out of there. Like, I'm just saying, like, I need to see more of Jai Opetaia against top-level guys. Like, if Jai Opetaia dispatches Chris Billum-Smith, if he eventually gets there against him in a way that Zurdo couldn't, then maybe I can get on board with that. I just haven't seen it at the highest oblivion. I think that David Benavidez, if he looks great against Zurdo, wins a clean decision, knocks him out, I think he's got a great chance against someone like
Sergio offers a warning from the other side, believing Opetaia's physical abilities and ability to punish mistakes could make him a particularly difficult opponent for Benavidez. David would need to avoid becoming careless or assuming his usual forward pressure will automatically succeed. One mistake could give Opetaia the opening he needs to land a clean shot and completely shift the momentum of the fight.
Especially by a Jai Opetaia. I think Jai Opetaia beats Zurdo too. I think Jai Opetaia is the best cruiserweight in the world because he has power, he has the size, and he has the footwork. So no, I think it'll be career suicide, especially if David Benavidez wants to control these May and September dates. He needs to go back down after a potential win against a Mexican and control these Mexican dates and be the...
Andre Dirrell breaks the matchup down from a technical perspective, drawing on his experience as a fighter and his time around elite-level boxing. For Dirrell, speed could be one of the biggest deciding factors in the fight. Quicker reactions, faster combinations, and the ability to land punches before the opponent can respond could determine who controls the pace. If either fighter can consistently beat the other to the punch and dictate the exchanges, that advantage could become extremely important as the fight progresses.
You kind of see Zurdo's punches coming one at a time or one after another, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4. When David, you get hit with 3 before you even know it. So it's just like, okay, he hit me right here, but who the hell hit me over on this side and down to the body at the same time? So that speed is going to be a huge factor. He's going to win that fight, and him and Jai is going to be a tough fight for both fighters. That's going to be a fight. Both of these guys are going to learn.
Dirrell develops that argument by focusing on Opetaia's movement and ability to create angles. If Opetaia constantly changes position, avoids staying directly in front of Benavidez, and makes David reset repeatedly, Benavidez could be forced to spend much more energy simply trying to create openings. That movement could frustrate David and disrupt his rhythm, potentially tempting him to force exchanges or throw punches that are not naturally available. If Opetaia can maintain that movement while staying disciplined, it could become an important part of his strategy for neutralizing Benavidez's pressure.
Yes, so let's stick to the Jai Opetaia and David Benavidez, right? If Jai can use his feet collectively, stay out the way. I've seen fights with him where he lasts a whole 12 rounds continually moving after getting dropped or hurt. You know what I'm saying? So he has the ability with his legs, right? If you can continually make David have to reach for you because he can't simply walk to you and get the shots off, then he's going to have a problem.
Dirrell ultimately highlights the jab as another major weapon in the potential matchup. A strong and consistent lead hand could allow Opetaia to control distance, disrupt Benavidez's rhythm, and slow down his relentless forward pressure. If Opetaia can repeatedly establish the jab, he may be able to force David to reset and operate from a safer range. However, Dirrell also points out the danger if that jab fails to keep Benavidez on the outside. David's pressure could quickly close the distance, turn the fight into close-range exchanges, and create opportunities for him to unleash his offense in combinations.
Have the jab that I want him to have, and that's really gonna set up the big shots because it blinds a lot of. You gotta blind him with that jab. Keep that jab in his face, making it hard for him to see the shots coming after. And if you can keep that distance and cause him to have to take chances to land those shots, then David is going to have the problem. So Jai has the feet. He has the ability. He put the right game plan together.
Looking at the wider division, Sean Zittel believes Benavidez would face serious challenges against several elite names, including Jai Opetaia, Artur Beterbiev, and Dmitry Bivol. Each of these fighters brings a different combination of experience, power, technical skill, and championship-level ability. However, despite the difficult matchups, Zittel remains confident that Benavidez has the talent and physical tools to navigate the division and prove himself against the toughest competition available.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he could beat them all. I do. I think he's the guy below the heavyweight division. I think he beats Opetaia, Beterbiev, and Bivol. But
so, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Boxing Hub, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest boxing breakdowns, fight news, major updates, and in-depth analysis from the world of boxing.